Somewhere this week you met three machines wearing the same badge: an email pipeline, a chatbot, and maybe the real thing, all of them, agents. And if you can't tell them apart, you'll pay agent prices, money, waiting, trust for a machine that was never deciding anything at all. This room has a procedure for that. When an unknown contact appears on the scope, you don't argue with it. You interrogate it. One question sorts all three every time. When the machine moved, who decided the next step? Contact 1. It talks. You probably have one open right now. A message goes in, the model writes back, and then, listen, nothing. That silence is the fingerprint. A chatbot acts when you transmit and stops when it answers. Between your messages, no clock is running. You are the loop. And this seat is older than it looks. About 60 years older. Meet the first machine that ever sat in it. MIT 1966. A program called ELIZA holds typewriter conversations. And some of the people typing to it are very hard to convince that it isn't human. Its inventor published the trick that same year. Read the sentence, find a keyword, apply the rule attached to that keyword, type the result. No understanding anywhere in the machine. It didn't matter. The illusion of understanding, Weizenbaum found, is easy to create and easy to maintain. 60 years later, the revolution arrived. ChatGPT, the most famous software launch of the decade, spent its first day in exactly this seat, a model in a dialogue, brilliant in the seat and bolted to it. Which is not an insult. The builders draw the same line in their own guides. Simple chatbots, OpenAI writes, are not agents. Contact 2 is stranger because it genuinely does things. It sends the report at 9. It triages the tickets overnight. No human anywhere in sight. But look at the board. Every route it can ever take is already drawn. A track laid before the run, fetch, then summarize, then route, then send. The model works that track as a specialist, not a pilot. At each station, the track hands it one job: summarize this, classify that, and takes back the answer. Sometimes the job is even choosing a fork. But every fork on offer was laid by an engineer in advance. Engineers call this a workflow. The model and its tools orchestrated through predefined code paths. That sentence is Anthropic's, and it lands on this board almost word for word. And the workflow is not the lesser machine. Fixed track is why it ships. Same input, same stations, same shape of result. Run after run after run. Here's its fingerprint. Ask it for anything off the map, a track no engineer laid, and there is no one aboard to say yes. The map is the intelligence, and the map was finished before ignition. Contact 3. You have already flown. Mission 01 drew it slowly. A model, tools it can request, and a loop that feeds the world back in. This time, you radio up a goal, not a route. The model looks at what just happened, chooses its next move, makes it, and comes back around. Observe, decide, act. Again, fly the same mission twice, and the transcripts can differ. Same goal, different weather, different route. Nothing was drawn in advance except the destination, the toolkit, and the rules of engagement. That's the third fingerprint. The route is drawn in flight by the model that is flying it. The model directs its own process. And the cost of that freedom rides along. Every decision is a model call. An agent is often slower and more expensive than a workflow, and it does not promise the same route twice. So, run the interrogation. 3 contacts on the scope. Who decided the next step? Was it you? Chatbot? It moves when you type and waits when you don't. Was it the map drawn before the run? That's a workflow. It executes a route it never drew. Was it the model deciding mid-flight? That's an agent. It's flying itself. Watch the test work once. 1 refund request. 3 seats. Type it into the chatbot and you get a beautifully drafted reply. Then the clock stops waiting on you. Every next step is yours. The workflow picks it up at 9 and runs the route drawn last spring. Read, classify, draft, send. The map decided. The agent opens the order history, finds the double charge, issues the refund, and radios back. Done. Turn by turn, the model decided. Now, the path, the badge heights. These are seats, not species. The same model, the very same weights, can sit in all 3. Wire it to a dialog box, chatbot. Bolt it into station 4 of a pipeline, workflow. Hand it tools and a loop, agent. The badge belongs to the seat, to the system built around the model, never to the model itself. And real machines mix seats freely. A workflow with 1 agent flown leg. A chatbot that, mid-conversation, opens a loop, flies it, and lands back in the chat with your answer. The vocabulary is younger than it sounds. The field's biggest labs don't yet use these words for quite the same things. But wherever the lines blur, the question still cuts. Who decided the next step? There's even 1 drawer for the whole family, agentic systems. And the room's real trick is knowing which seat the job actually needs. Which brings back the field rule from Mission 01, the simplest machine that works. Now, with a checklist to choose by, the test itself is a field tool, not a law of nature, but it sorts nearly everything you'll meet. A conversation with a human deciding every turn. A chatbot is enough. Most questions don't need a mission. A well-defined job you'll run 1,000 times the same way. Build the workflow. Predictability is a feature, not a compromise. Judgment calls, messy inputs, rules you can't keep maintaining. That is what an agent is for. And you accept the fuel bill, latency, cost, and a route you can't fully predict. And when none of that applies, ordinary software still wins. The people who sell the loop keep saying so themselves. One last thing from 1966. The man who built ELIZA knew exactly what explaining it would cost. Once the workings are plain, he wrote, the magic crumbles away. He published the explanation anyway. He thought seeing clearly was worth more than the spell, and this room was built on his bet. A machine you can identify is a machine you can trust with a mission. Mission 01 showed the agent asking for a button to be pressed. Next mission, the other side of that radio call, the forms, the harness, and everything that can go wrong between the asking and the pressing. The patch goes on the wall. Mission 02 complete.